Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey, y'all. This is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have one of my absolute most favorite people on my show today. And the reason why I'm so excited is because this woman fascinates me. I learn so much from her all the time. She is one of the most amazing, to say the least, astrologers that I know. She's so much more than that. A coach, a counselor, a minister. She has so many aspects to herself that make her this bright light in this world. And I have to be honest with y'all, she has a really big following. She's got a lot of groupies, including me. So Lorelei Robbins is my guest today. And again, so excited to have her on. And she combines her unique skills as a spiritual astrologer, counselor, interviewer, and minister to create Robin's Cosmic Nest, your playground for the soul, and thank your lucky stars, conscious business solutions. So Robin's Cosmic Nest is really her umbrella, if you want to call it business, but her umbrella piece, where she works with individuals to support and inspire them to give voice to the different aspects of the personality. And she calls these cast of characters. And these are all connected to the astrological signs that are in their chart so that they can harness their gifts and talents to manifest what they desire in perfect divine timing. And then she has this amazing program, coaching and consulting business called Thank Your Lucky Stars. And it's where she works with conscious business owners to help them understand how they're energetically aligned with their vision that they have for their business. And with her understanding of their personality dynamics and quote unquote astro brand, coupled with her ability to interpret and harness the power of the planetary energies, which is so freaking cool, she helps her clients clarify their vision, create their plan and timeline, and really choose their team so that they can be the most successful that they can be in their endeavors. When I approached Lorelei to do my show, she was like, oh, cool, we got to pick the right day and the right time. The moon's going to be in Libra, Janis, for our interview. So she really was, as always, kind of honed in on the perfect timing, divinely and astrologically. And today, y'all get the benefit of hearing something amazing today. She has this concept, this idea, this program called Every Match is Made in Heaven. And she created these 7 relationship truths that are based on astrology. And so welcome, Lorelei. So happy to have you with us today. Cannot wait to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, sweetie. And I'm so grateful that you get me. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to ask you, can you first start how did you come about creating these 7 relationship truths?
Well, like most of us, I created them out of my own experience. I mean, in other words, there's really nothing here that's original. It's just the way I've put it together, and astrology is a piece of this. But, like, for instance, my second truth is that I believe, because it's been through my own journey of some successes, some painful things, but that the only way to have a healthy, successful, really relationship with anyone, but we tend to always hone on those romantic relationships, but that's why I say every match is made in heaven, is that I become, you are my own best friend, my own parent, and my own partner. I've been married a number of times, and I can't tell you how many people I tried to get to parent me.
Yeah.
I mean, right. You take responsibility for me. I'm not going to take responsibility. So, these are things that I read or heard, but out of my own experience of, wow, I've got to be the one there for me, because I just believe we put so much emphasis on out there in the relationship and abdicate responsibility that our happiness is up to us.
Right. I'm curious, Lorelei. One of the things I've been so excited to hear you share with the audience, and like I just share with them, I learned so much. You have these videos every day on Facebook telling us about the planetary activity, how our signs really influence our lives, and it's not just our sun sign, which is our month, our birth month, but we have a rising sign, and we have all moon sign, and we have so many other astrological aspects that truly contribute to who we are as people. And I would love for you to, I'm sure you're going to do it when you explain the 7 relationship truths, if you could sprinkle some of that astrological knowledge into these truths, because I would imagine that there's some basis for that.
Yes, and actually the 7th truth, I say the truth that a lot of us know, that our greatest challenges in relationships, I believe, are our healing angels, the ones that we have the most challenge with, that we script everyone, and if we don't like the script, we can change it. Well, the 7th truth, and I'll go through them again, is that everyone comes into our life for a season, a reason, that whole thing that people say.
Mm-hmm.
So astrology just adds emphasis and value to that principle, that it becomes such a valuable tool to understand who comes into our life, when and why.
Right. Tell me how just today, because I know I had mentioned to listeners that you said, and you were so excited, the moon is in Libra. What is, tell the listeners about that. They're going to hear this interview. They're going to hear this interview a little later than today. But what does that mean? Moon is in Libra.
Yeah. So the moon spends 2 to 2.5 days in one of the 12 signs, and it tends to reflect the mood of the public. So when the moon is in Libra, number one, that's the sign of relationships. That's the sign of collaboration, co-creation. I am a Libra. You're Libra rising.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that. You're an interviewer, I'm an interviewer, we have that connection. And so I thought, I could talk about all kinds of things, but it all comes down to every match is made in heaven, because it's starting with the relationship with us. And so I thought, how perfect with the moon in Libra, because again, we can get so focused on the out there relationships and totally ignore the most important relationship, which is my first truth, which is the relationship with the God, the divine of our own being.
Right. Can you quickly tell the listeners how the moon and the sun individually influence us? And then I want to get into your 7 relationship truths.
Sure. So the sun is the conscious self. It's the will, if you will. So our sun sign, which is what most people know, you're a Taurus, I'm a Libra, that's where we shine.
Yeah.
Because where we shine. And I came up with, because it was playful to say, the cast of characters, so we have the sun, which is again the conscious self, and then the moon is the unconscious, it's the feeling nature. So the moon in the chart reflects how the person is wired on an emotional level. It has to do with security and safety. It's habitual. We want to feed our moon. That's, like when we're alone with ourselves, we're feeding the moon part of us. So, most people have lumped every quality about someone under the sun sign.
Right.
Which is far too narrow.
Yeah.
But when one expands and sees, wow, there's this whole cast of characters. So the work that I do across the board, whether it's with individuals or relationships, is helping myself and others give voice to these different parts of our personality. Because, the parts of ourselves that we're not aware of or not conscious of or we've projected or repressed. So it's like, let's bring them all out on the table. Let's sit around the round table with the different parts of who we are and have a dialogue about how we want our life to look.
Right. Now, I know I am heavily influenced by the moon. I know when we just had a super new moon for like two weeks or like a week and a half. Oh my gosh, my body was going through all sorts of stuff, headaches, neck aches, like sleep was crazy. The moon could truly influence us in
Yeah.
ways that we never imagined. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Well, the way I talk about all of that is we are the planets. Like energetically, we're all one. So we are the moon, we are the Venus, we are Mercury. So rather than, oh my God, like the moon is doing this to me or Saturn is doing this to me. I mean, a lot of people want to blame the planets, and who's going to argue with that, right?
Yeah,
if somebody says, well, I'm such a son of a gun because you see, Pluto squares my moon. Well, no, I don't see.
I don't
it's
think
like,
many people say that or hear that.
Right. Well, it's like if I'm not going to blame my parents, let me blame the stars, right? Let me blame the planets. So it really is a way to become conscious. Your moon is Cancer. So you would tend to, you're plugged in, like you feel, anybody that has any water is, that's nature. But you're really plugged in to the phases of the moon. So, but I think of you because you got so much fire,
I do, right? Yeah, that's got me in a lot of trouble sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right. All right, my sweet friend. So talk to us about the 7 relationship truths, because I know just even the 2 that you mentioned, there's just such gold in them. So what's the first one?
I'll go from the beginning so the first one is, and again, this is just all according to me and what I've learned and what's worked, that every relationship is a sacred gift. It's an assignment from God, beginning with the most important relationship, which is with, as I like to say, the Lord of our being, with, the divine in us. The second one, which I said earlier, and this was hard one for me, to really get that happy, fulfilling relationships are possible when we are our own best friend, parent, and partner. And that's, easier said than done sometimes. But again, if the relationship with self works, that's the model for every other relationship, in my opinion. Yeah. And then the next one, many folks, of course, know relationships are mirrors. If I see something in someone else and it triggers me, whether it's positive or negative, it could be, oh, Lorelei, you're so enthusiastic and loving. Oh, thank you. That's a projection also, a positive projection, right? As opposed to, oh, that person's so controlling and so angry. Well, maybe they're showing up in my reality because I'm not in touch with the controlling and angry part of me. So, I again believe that every relationship, and this also, of course, comes from A Course in Miracles, is for us to integrate and whole, WHOLE, ourselves. The next one is, which I did allude to earlier, you script everyone in your life. And if the script no longer works or no longer serves us, we can change that. So whatever that is, with anyone, whatever the experience is, we've scripted it, usually unconsciously, of course. And then, as I said, the people who challenge us the most, I believe, are our greatest teachers. And I love to call them healing angels. They show up and they may be a family member. They may be, a current boss or a coworker or a friend, or it really doesn't matter who it is. To me, they're showing up on cue, scripted by my soul, and they're reporting for duty. They're reporting for relationship duty, I guess you could say.
Right.
And then this is the one I think a lot of people also have a challenge with, that relationships never end or die. They change form. Your father's not in the body anymore, and you can still have a relationship with him. Yeah. We're married to someone, and then we're not. We're divorced, and then we tend to talk about them in the past tense. He was a Taurus, or he was a Gemini. Well, if he's still alive, he probably is still a Gemini or a Taurus. But we speak in the past tense, like they're gone in a way, and so. It's because, let's say specifically in a romantic relationship, where does the love go? If the form changes because people no longer are going to sleep together or be exclusive or whatever it is, but where does the love go, right? So relationships never die or end, they change form. I learned that one from Marianne Williamson. It was listening to some of her stuff years and years ago, because I was having a relationship with a man, you'll love this, the therapist, and you born on my father's birthday. You think the universe
goodness.
Had a message for me, right? And we were in and out and back and forth and together and married and not married and came back together, so I really got to experience that they never die. And we're friends now. I mean, we're friendly, but they just change form. So I think that one can really assuage a lot of pain in relationships, to get, no, I'm not married to the father of these kids anymore, or no, I'm not engaged to this person, or no, I'm not whatever, but they have been an important part of my life, and there is still a relationship, even if it's not necessarily active, know, actively being fed, if you will.
Right.
And then the last one is, never die to end. And the last one is astrology. Again, as I said, is a valuable tool. You know, with all of the others said, that the astrology then is like icing on the cake. Oh, no wonder this person with Aries energy is in my life. I need to be courageous. I need to be more I need to be more focused on what I want. Or, gee, no wonder this Cancer person or this person with prominent Cancer energies in my life. I really need to learn how to nurture myself. You know, so the astrology is a language of human potential, and it's a beautiful a descriptor. But again, it is such a beautiful tool to understand. Let's say it's challenging. Let's say somebody with Aries energy comes in, and we're really angry, and we're not aware of it. And you know, and let's say I've been a martyr or not taking care of myself, and then this person comes in that's very self-centered, which is what I need to be more of. Let's say, you know, So because I believe that person comes in to help us integrate that particular energy. You know,
I love that you said that, because that, I think for so many people, they don't pay attention to the purpose of the person. Like this, I hope that listeners, y'all are enlightened and something switches on, because what Lorelei is talking about is so pivotal. It's, you know, we take for granted people coming in, or we date people, and we don't really think that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes about why they've appeared. And the mirror piece, which I'm so glad you brought up as one of the truths as well, huge in any relationship. It's like everything in your life, especially your relationships, is a mirror for you. And if you are able to, if you have some interest in astrology, and maybe you buy a book, or maybe you call Lorelei, and we're going to give contact information for you to do that. If you can harness some sort of cue based on their personality, based on the things that poke at you, that bother you, that touch that nerve, then you are going to grow by leaps and bounds, because people bring you gifts because of who they are. And I think that's one of the most important points that of course, all your points are absolutely spot on. That, to me, I teach that to all of my clients all the time. It was a hard lesson for me to learn as a person in relationships. You know, it's like I would end up, as most people do, just feeling bad, but not really making the connections that whatever pain point that this person is poking in me, that it's like, Janis, get a clue, shift. This is a part of you that needs to be resolved. And I feel like that's one of the most important pieces that I, as a therapist, can teach people. And you, being the amazing woman that you are with all of these amazing gifts and talents, are teaching people today.
I mean, and it was a painful journey for me, because I believed every time I got married, number one, I thought it would last forever, but I also believed on some level, and it was unconscious for a long time, that person was supposed to make me happy, right? Isn't our lingo when you talk about, well, he doesn't make me happy, or you don't make me happy? Wow, talk about putting a lot of responsibility on somebody else, right?
Right.
When we know that, and I don't think I got that till I was in my 60s.
Yeah.
Really, where I went, I get this now. I finally get this. So,
wonderful.
If I take time, and then it becomes this beautiful unfolding.
Yeah,
because
it does.
Why this person has resurfaced. You know, it could be a family member that we haven't had an active relationship with, let's say, and a cousin, a sibling, or whoever. And then all of a sudden they become prominent in our lives for some reason. And so I have always found such joy in knowing that.
Right. Lorelei, just real quick, tell the listeners how you got into astrology.
I can make this really quick.
Yeah.
I moved to Atlanta in 78. I knew nothing about astrology other than I was a Libra. That's all I knew. And I went to work for this amazing, crazy company in downtown Atlanta, a subsidiary of which was Cosmos, which made a biorhythm handheld. They called it a computer, but it was a calculator, and an astro. It was a little calculator that if I put your birthday in, it would tell me where Mercury, your communication, Venus, what you value, and Mars, what drives you. And I would go to trade shows, and I was an administrative assistant to one of the 2 Australian VPs in this small company, and I would go to trade shows and I would demonstrate this computer, and I'd say, oh, you have Mercury in this sign. And it was people's reaction to me. I think they'd go, how do you know that? How do you know that I value that or that drives me? And I'd go, I don't know. I know I'm learning data, you know? Well, then I went into personnel from there and dragged the tool with me, you know? And in interviews, I would ask people the question that, you know, what do you do best and what's important to you? Well, 80% of the world then, and maybe almost 80% of the world now, doesn't know why they get up every day. You know,
Right.
And we get up to use what we've got, essentially, because I believe the soul and God make an agreement, and we come in with exactly the raw materials for whatever our journey is about, and we make the choices.
Beautiful.
So it's been a beautiful language, and I spent my high school years in 2 boarding schools in Switzerland learning German and French. So astrology for me is another language.
Awesome. It's just amazing. I could listen to you all day. Tell me if there was one important thing you want listeners to know about how important astrology is and can be in their lives. What would you say?
I would say that since, you know, so many people are questioning, you know, what's my purpose? What's my mission? What am I supposed to be doing here? What we're supposed to be doing here is being awake. In other words, so what is it that makes me come alive or makes anyone come alive? And to watch people come alive before my eyes because they have connected to themselves and they're excited about who they are, you know, that brings me the greatest joy. It's this great quote. I'd love to say it, Janis. It's from Howard Thurman. It's don't ask what you probably know it. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Right. And so that would be like, I remember I came to one of your Playground for the Souls. It was absolutely amazing. And of course, like I said, I learned so much from you. But really to seek your services is to really have such a clear sense of who you are, all these different aspects about you, how you show up in the world that either you know or you don't know, and then it's like, whoa, wait a minute, yeah, that makes sense. And to understand how people see you, to understand what you're good at, especially if you feel lost. I mean, when I tell y'all, everybody, Lorelei can so help you understand yourself beyond what you could possibly even imagine. And like I said, we're going to give contact information at the end. So what are some, if you could just say, what are some unique results that you've helped y'all, if you can hear the thunder, it's storming outside. What are some of the really amazing results that you've helped your clients achieve? And then we're going to do a little something fun at the end.
I'm here. I flipped out. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay. Yeah, so how have you helped your clients?
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, I started the Playground for the Soul Circles to use all of my skills as a counselor and an interviewer and et cetera, to really help people get what they want, to manifest the desires of their heart and soul using the moon energies, to plant seeds, to harvest, et cetera. But so many different ways, relationships, things like, again, getting clarity around what most makes them again come alive. Timing. The other thing about astrology that blows me away is while it's a personality diagnostic for an individual and a relationship, it's also a timing tool.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of timing with folks, you know, in creating events, or if things are they're very important dates on the calendar,
right.
And then how do we maximize the timing of anything?
I think that is just beyond fascinating to me. I mean, it's just crazy fascinating. So, Lorelei, tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you, and then I'm going to do something, like I said, fun that I do after every interview that I have.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So, Facebook, certainly. If anybody's on Facebook, please friend me on my daily miracle minutes, which I call a daily dose of magic, joy, and inspiration. That's my intention. Robbins Cosmic Nest is my website. I must admit, my website is not a whistles, bells, it's kind of like, it's pretty basic. It's my story. You can sign up here, you can pay here, but the website hasn't really been a big focus for me because my focus is, there's no substitute for connecting with people.
Yeah.
And so I would say Facebook certainly, and or my or the website, Robbins
Right.
Cosmic Nest.
And I just wanted to tell everybody that her last name is spelled Robbins, two B's. So robbinscosmicnest.com. All right, Lorelei, here we are at the end. I'm going to ask you these questions, answer just right off the top of your head, and then we'll close it out for today. What's your favorite word?
Ooh, favorite word. Joy.
What's your least favorite word?
Abandonment.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Watching people be excited about who they are.
What turns you off?
What turns me off? When I'm unconscious and I react and defend when anybody reacts and defends themselves, because it just mirrors the way I do it. So.
Okay. What's your favorite curse word?
You want me to say that on the podcast?
Absolutely, yes. Trust me, I've dropped a lot of F-bombs and said a lot of things. What's your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck.
Okay. What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, I'm hearing it right now, the rain.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Honking cars.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
And, it's funny that you asked me that. I think I would have been a great attorney.
What profession would you not like to do?
No more secretarial sitting behind the desk, which I did for so many years.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You did your job.
Beautiful. Now, this came from Inside the Actors Studio. It's one of my favorite shows, and I love these questions. So thank you, Lorelei. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and would love to have you on another time. But I wanted to say thank you, listeners. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you gleaned a little bit of insight about how powerful knowing your astrological makeup is. Also, really listening to the knowledge and the wisdom of the seven things that Lorelei was talking about. Please hop over to iTunes, click on my podcast, and please rate and review. As I say always, the more ratings and reviews I get, the more exposure I get, the more people I can help. And my number is 404-558-3971 if you'd like a reading or would like to invest in shifting and changing your life with intuitive therapy. I wish y'all a blessed day, a wonderful week, and always live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.